Maybe the secret to YouTube is to transform the toy videos into something else. I could say, well, I'm doing pet toy videos. Is that kitten interested in what's going around on the turntable? I've got to find a survival tactic. This site is going to kill me. This site is going to kill me in the way that's perceived in my videos. Or maybe this is going to work. That kitten there is Teddy. Teddy is 5 months old and extremely naughty. Teddy is male and desexed. And Teddy is a kitten from Little Cat. Little Cat was a cat that turned up and tried to steal Fluffy's food one day. There's actually quite a story about these cats and Little Cat and all the rest of it. Maybe one day I'll bring it to YouTube. Maybe I won't, but maybe the real story here is I could transform looking at toys into basically saying, well, they're for pets. How interested is Teddy in that? He seems to be quite interested, but then again he's also quite distracted. Hey Teddy? Teddy's a beautiful cat. In a sense looks very much like his mum, and Teddy's gone.
Warning. This video is made for a general audience. It may contain adult themes, consumer advice, and information that can be enjoyed by all ages. I need to say this because, sadly, the YouTube systems are totally dumb ass.
I keep seeing the same shortages and failures in retail over and over and over. That's the $2 Hot Wheels selection there, and as I go up, the higher priced Hot Wheels are also totally and completely missing in action. How many times have I said you can't make a cent from an empty pig? Hey, it does tell me Hot Wheels is popular when the stock does come back. It does seem to sell out fairly fast. But why do we keep seeing chronic shortages of one of the most popular little toy cars on the planet? It sort of makes no sense. Thomas and friends, all engines go James, metal engine version. I'm going to make right with the wheels. I'm going to make the wheels look far better, and it's going to be a very, very simple thing to do. Hopefully you need adult supervision. Adults should always supervise when doing this thing. In fact, if you've got an adult to do this for you, it'd be even better. And I'm going to come in and very, very carefully with I won't say brand names, I'll just say a Texta. There we go. I'm just going to mark up these wheels and make them black. You know, these days in the site, you say a brand name and then people say, oh, you're getting paid to say that. Blah, blah, blah. I'm so sick and tired of what people think goes on a channel. I could get quite rude. I could get really rude, actually, because I'm telling you what, I've had some people who have caused unnecessary havoc on my channel, and hopefully those people have gone away. But you can see what I'm doing here, and there's a really curious thing about my channel, and I'd like to speak to the adults here, because we like to talk to adults on my channel. And what happened on my channel, and it's been nibbling away for years like this, is anything that's been very popular, it'll either be demonetized, and if I get the video back it'll be double demonetized, and the other thing that happens is it'll be deemed a kid's video. Sometimes I win the appeals. They're always very similar videos. Other times I lose. There seems to be no, how would I call it, no standard in what goes on. I think this is going to make a world of difference in the way James looks. There's a strange line through these wheels as well. It does look like a crack. It's not a crack, it's just the way they've been detailed and the way they've formed in their plasticness. I don't know how to say the proper word. I've just got to spin the wheel here. It's always stupidly difficult trying to work down through a camera, and I'm actually looking off to the side to do this, but I'm also babbling. But hopefully you're also seeing how simple it is to make James look right. I've got the engine side done on one side. I should show you how I do a small wheel, and that's on the tender, and it's a case of just being nice and slow and careful. And I think one trick here is pick the right sort of Texta without saying a brand name like Sharpie. Oops, did I just say a brand name? I remember the angst that used to go on if I used the word or showed a certain type of battery going into a toy. I mean, some of the grief people want to generate, it's unbelievable. I've suffered it for years on this site, and it's weird. You think you get used to it, but you actually don't. It actually starts to build up on you, and can have quite devastating, I feel, long-term effects. If you make a little mistake, you can just rub it out with your nail, or have a cotton bud, or some people call them Q-tips. I don't know where Q-tips came from. Maybe it's from overseas. And one part of me was thinking maybe we should just do that. You know how the smaller engines have got the quadrant painted? I thought that might have looked funky, because then when it spins it looks funky. But hey, let's just, you know, do it like it's seen in the show. Not that I've really watched the show. I don't really need that sort of mental damage. I've been on YouTube for a long time, although I wouldn't say that in a boastful way, because the early days of YouTube were so different versus what is going on today. And I was going to put screenshots up here. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, and this will transcend this definitely into adult viewing. Of course, we've got YouTube Shorts, which has been around for a while now. It's basically trying to be a copycat of TikTok, which I mean, people my age just don't like that sort of site. My son loves it, of course. He's the right age. My daughter is past that, in a sense. But what I don't like is the way YouTube is letting basically anything go on YouTube Shorts, and I'm basically seeing what I classify as soft porn. I'm seeing very violent videos, and I'm seeing content that if it was on normal YouTube, it would be flagged down in a snap. Yet, it seems on YouTube Shorts, it's almost anything goes. It's the wild, wild west of video, and it makes no sense, because I know so many people who on normal YouTube who have been smacked off the site for basically the sort of content that's all over Shorts. I just do not understand what's going on there. I know there's a lot of people who are disappointed with what I make these days on this site, and what they don't understand, or what they don't seem to understand, is that I have been smacked down so many times by the site, and you get quite threatening emails saying that if you keep misrepresenting content on the site, well, basically it's going to be goodnight sister to Leo Kim Video. I mean, YouTube has turned into an incredibly toxic site to be a producer on, and I'm telling you the facts and the truth here. I'm not trying to make up something or make you feel sorry for me. I'm just telling you how difficult it is to produce what I used to do all the time on this site. And I'm actually getting quite good at doing this down through camera. It's funny, you know, everything comes to an end, and you often wonder, well, how are things going to end? And I think years back, I used to think, I wonder how YouTube's going to finish up for me. Because you sort of have these thoughts, well, this could happen or that could happen, and I've seen lots of people basically pushed off the site for various reasons. But I never saw what's happened to me coming, in a sense, the way YouTube seems to find fault with so many things that I've done on the site. And I'm tell you what, I categorise myself as a fairly boring and safe producer. You know, you don't hear me F-bombing and swearing. Maybe I should. Maybe that's the way to, you know, to be someone successful here now. It's just frippin' bizarre. Okay, well, that's a before, and woo, that's an after. Maybe you will like this, maybe you won't like it, maybe you won't see it once it's up on the track. There's another little bit of detail. He's got black buffers on the front, but for some reason none on the back. Let's fix that. Okay, well, the parts I want to paint are those two plastic parts. So I've actually just looked at my pen. It's actually a Bic, as in the company Bic, not a Sharpie, but I think you can see the sort of tip that you need to do this, which I'm sure Sharpies would do, but I should say that I'm using a Bic marker. Okay, so Bic being another big name in this sort of funky stuff. Okay, then that's one side done, and I will spin it and not touch the wet stuff and do this side. And yeah, I've also been sick as well, and I can't talk about what I had or else this video will be flagged. Maybe it's a nice clue to you to what's happened to me, but tell you what, I was knocked out for 6. I was not well at all. Okay, that job is done. There's the tender, which is original. I always said the line work on these, to me, wasn't done right. I'd really feel like coming in and redoing that black line work in the way the earlier toys were done. And crikeys, look at the difference. Just a little bit of work. How long did it take? A couple of seconds to make it right. Why doesn't the toy company make it right? This is the marking pen I used. To me, it's just like a Sharpie. It draws, you know, a black line like that. Okay, and I have got no association with this company, Sharpie, or anything else you see in this video. Okay, I've adjusted the shutter speed on the camera. We'll give this a spin via the thing that's got no name. And we'll see how it looks. And you can tell me if you like this or not. Do you think James looks better with the wheels done like that? Do a nice little passing shot. It certainly looks different versus the standard Thomas All Engines Go James. Very simple mod to do. I'm sure nice parents would do that for their lovely, lovely younger ones. Hopefully this video is for adults, isn't it, YouTube? Dumbass site. Maybe the trick here is to put on a non-modded James, and we can set it up against the one I've just done the extra details to. Nearly had a train wreck. Nearly had a train wreck. Okay, there's James in his normal format as you get it from the toy factory. Looking at the wheels in particularly. And then we'll have the one with the darkened interior wheels, but you still see the silver on the flange. Which one do you prefer, Mr. Mattel? There's a big part of me just itching to make the line work on James nice and black and strong like it used to be, but that's very similar to the way it's actually seen on the new variant of Thomas & Friends. A lot of changes have gone on, for good or for worse. Mind you, the toys look very similar to what you see on screen, which is really all we ever wanted. But there's a look at the normal James out of the box, and we'll let the modded one just see him on through here. Maybe you can tell me what you think about YouTube Shorts and some of the really, really vile content that's getting on that side of the site. It, well, to me, makes no sense at all versus what has happened on the site over many years, and that is YouTube producers being pulled down for things that weren't really that bad. Well, I fixed up the wheels on this James, and I was always saying the black line work was not done black enough, and I'm just developing a process in fixing that, but this will be another video because I'm still experimenting with different pens and things and ways of getting the curves. Yeah, this is quite tricky to do nicely. That's the best way I could say it. In my initial experimenting, I've been using one of these pens here. Maybe you're familiar with this. That's the size of the pen there, 0.7mm. And it's not just about understanding a pen process, it's understanding how to fix a little mistake, which I made a few to just do that side, and to show you how radically different a black line looks like versus what you're given from the toy factory. There you go there. Which one do you prefer? I certainly know which one I prefer and what I think is right, but hey, you know, from what I can see, the black line work isn't as black anymore. We seem to have lost that nice defined black line work that you see there. You know, to me that's chalk and cheese, and I certainly know which one I would prefer to see. And to pull off the rest of the black line work on James is going to be tricky because there's a line right down on the running board. I mean, right down, and you want to find a process where you're not leaching ink and stuff onto things, because if it gets into there, you're going to start to lose the definition of a good line. And there's also a very, very complicated curve here. In a sense, it's it's more like a bit of a part of an oval or a complex curve going on there, and strange little ones here in very tight areas. So it's not, I mean, doing the tendo is quite simple. That's simple, but getting the line work done on James is going to be just a little bit more complicated.